are informed by external forces. Because most of the people that have determined which direction you're going seem to be parents, peers, and teachers, and it seems like you don't have a say in the choices. I didn't hear anyone say, I made the choice for myself. Everybody said they were teachers, they were friends. Nobody said that it was a personal choice. So how do you have career goals when all of your choices are being made for you? For those who say they have career goals, how have you come up with your career goals? Yes?
Because social forces influence individual.
I didn't hear that clearly.
My social forces influence panemon. Saka pachakapiwa maforces aya external forces aya zvakatita kuti titenge career goals.
Okay, but I'm saying that how do you have goals for something that was imposed on you? Can we have somebody else? I'm sure that all of you guys here, you know why you chose what you chose. It's influence from parents, family, whatever. So I want to understand how, because those who say they have career goals, who informed the career goals? Okay, what career goals do you have? Who wants to share their career goals?
I think if we participate, it would be an exciting program. But if you just keep quiet, it won't be exciting.
I need somebody else. Who informed your career goals? Do we know what career goals are? Who knows what career goals are? Who knows what career goals are? Yes.
I think they are objectives, like your aims in life, what you see yourself in the future. That's what I think career goals are. Your objectives in life.
Okay. And so for those who are saying that their career goals were influenced by family, by friends, by teachers, what would you have chosen instead of what you're doing now? What would you have chosen instead of what you're doing now? If you did not have anyone influencing your goals, what were you going to choose? Yes. Sorry? Sorry? Ask it by business. You want to be a
They are serious.
And better words for some of the things that you want to do, right? Hustling is as good as entrepreneurship, right? Who else? Who else? Tell us, because you guys are saying your choices were informed by parents, by teachers, and by friends. So I'm trying to understand, yes? So what were you made to choose? Saka upite usadachi masciences. Saka with science vada kuzoita chi? Architectural design. Okay, but your passion is kutambuisa. How you guys make decisions. Because decision making is a very important component of your life, right? If you don't know how to make decisions and how decisions are influenced by other people outside of you, your life will just be going on and you won't even know how everything is panning out. So what I'm trying to talk to you about here is career decision making and decision making in general. Right? Obviously, we all have limits in terms of what we can do and what we cannot do. There is decision making which is influenced by friends that you have control over. If you're saying to me that your career choices were influenced by your friends, then you have given away your power in decision making. But there's certain times when it comes to making decisions, it's really got nothing to do with your parents or your teachers, but it's got everything to do with you and your friends. Who's studying something that was influenced by their friends? Mm-hmm. You, I'm the culprit. All right. So what are you studying? Architectural. You want to be an architect? Why not go for this one? You know, when you're thinking about your career, as much as you might think that you still have a lot of time to figure things out, time is moving. Just now you were in Form 1, now you're in upper 6 or lower 6, right? Time goes by very quickly. Before you know it, you'll be finished with school. Some of your colleagues didn't proceed to A level. Some of them decided not to proceed to A level, but you decided to proceed to A level. Why did you decide to proceed to A level? Was it because of your parents or your own personal choices? Yes. Random music. You want to go to university, which is a really good thing. Random university. Alright. Why do you guys want to go to university? What did you hear about university? Yes. Alright, question about that. Stay you know.
In that also, the atmosphere could A level made decision I'm because they want to be evidence that yes, pleasure would also lead her to university.
What do you want to do in university?
Journalism.
Journalism. Okay. And why did you choose journalism?
I was just motivated no longer when my brain no follower. So now when I'm only so interesting.
Alright. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about career goal setting, right? And I do understand that there are challenges. I also had my career determined by my mother to a very large extent in terms of what to study, right? But I later on branched out and did what I wanted to do after I was now staying on my own and I was independent. Then I went ahead and I did what I wanted to do. So when you're still staying with your parents, it's extremely difficult to go against what they want. But that doesn't mean that just because your parents have told you what you should do with your life, that's what you should end up doing for the rest of your life. Because eventually you're going to leave your parents' house and you're going to do your own things. And when you start doing your own things, that's when you can start going for the things that you want to pursue. So I want to encourage you guys in terms of your career direction that when we're talking about career goals, we're talking about the vision that you have for your life, right? Because ultimately, all of us, we're going to leave this earth and we're all going to pass away, we're all going to die at some point. And that's just the reality of life, right? The reality of life is that all of us are going to leave this earth. And the one thing that I want to ask you guys is, when you leave the earth, what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want to be remembered for? I'm talking about the difference and the legacy that you want to leave behind, right? What are people going to say about you at your funeral? That's what I'm saying. What are people going to say about you at your funeral? Now, all of you guys know that my funeral is not about the most, right?
Yeah.
Have you guys noticed Kuti? Don't pandang to tell anyone. Only the one yang to free by stars not tell. Right? And I'm I told us to right? All sorts of things that are said about you when you're gone. Some people will even be happy that you are gone. So in order for you to determine the narrative of what people are going to say about you, you've got to be intentional about what your future is going to look like. You've got to think about what is success going to look like for me. And you start working towards success now. You don't start tomorrow. And in Mumbai,
Yes.
yeah, right? Because just now, high school is over. But you're now into the world of work. And if you're not going to be prepared for that, whatever comes your way is what you will do. And you're not going to be strategic, and you're not going to think about where you're going with your life. Yes, there's someone else here. I don't with my jokes at Chisega, but Zaka Zakatorumi. You want Chisega Nai, which you got Zaka. And it's that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Because those who you're laughing with, you will think they haven't got their things together, but they do. And when school finishes, like as long as you lined up, yet you were supposed to see. Because whilst you guys were busy making jokes, you were laughing and he was busy planning, or she was busy planning. So this is why you must always think about your own life, and you must be very selfish about your goals and where you're going in life. So my question is, what do you want to be remembered for when you're gone? What are the issues that you care about? What are the issues that you care about? You don't like seeing those things. For example, maybe you don't like to see street kids, you just don't like seeing them suffering like that. And maybe you don't like to see women struggling. But what are the things that you feel you need to be fixed in the world that are not fair? Yes. Sin. Okay. That's a good one. So maybe you should become a pastor. What else? What else wants to share? Yes. Propaganda. Okay, propaganda in what way?
Like the way other governments actually lie to people.
Okay. Alright. Journalism. Journalists, can you hear that? Is against propaganda. Yes. But anyway, who else wants to share? Yes.
Hata nipati ongera kuzota polisi. Ndatoda kundisina kuita. Ndakuzonoda ndinenge katatuja. Dzini kwasa ndakuzonotuno Zimbabwe. Ndakana strategy kutuka na manu kuita chalo mu Zimbabwe kuzodo chimamodeli. Lakini ndatongo sawa one model. Kuti isa
Now that's more of like what I'm talking about, right? He has a clear vision of what he wants to achieve, what he wants to be remembered for, right? That building will be a building that everyone will remember him for. Even if he goes, everyone's going to talk about that building. Because that's the legacy that he's going to leave behind. And he's already taking the steps. He's studying what he needs to study. He knows that it was forced on him. So he's making the best of the situation. Right? He's making the best given the circumstances that life has dealt him. He's making the best of that. And it's not like he's coming from a much wealthier background than all of you. It's not like he faces less challenges than all of you. He does face challenges. Right? But yet he's planning his future. So you need to be intentional about what you want to do in the world. Who else wants to share? Who else wants to share? Besides the pastor. Even if a pastor not like the pastor, what he wants to do is similar. So that pastoral ways of living.
High school, then it's up his date.
kuti izvezvi engineering hachatombozvizivi chakutongoziva business development pakubhizinesi achazivi chatochinja pamwe chazoita kunga malawyer
But who's determining that path? You're making it seem like it's an external force that's determining this. And it's not you.
vanosangana asi step by step kuti ndini kwambanidaiva vamwe vanhu
Alright, so you know what? We will always blame other people for where we're at. Right? Yes.
Okay, unomzvabwe yamabasa, especially business sector. Saka ndechitati encourage like my SMEs to come together to form a partnership so that to enjoy economy as well. Saka business redu kanyokura vanhu vakati wandei vanogota sekunogona mabasa.
Alright, great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Sakamawese, you don't have a plan.
Yeah. As for me, I would actually love to combat some of the cases like corruption through journalism.
Yeah.
The reason why I choose journalism is this. Most people think that if you become a journalist, you'll be killed or you'll be just banished somehow. Of which that's, I would say, it's a lie.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen like that. So as for me, I want to go against every single bad thing that will happen in this country, and let's always create a achieve. Yeah.
Alright, so I'm going to get into career choice and how you make your career choices. Right? So I run an organization that focuses on helping young people to explore their world in terms of what career opportunities exist for them. Because the world is big, right? And there's a lot of opportunities that exist for you. But there's certain skill sets that you need in order for you to be successful. And those skill sets require a lot of intentionality. And we're talking about intentionality, we're talking about planning. Right? We're talking about planning. Because everything about your life is going to revolve around planning. It's going to revolve around planning. If you don't plan out your life, anything that happens to you will just be by whatever force is happening, whatever. But sometimes that doesn't end up being successful for you. Right? So, first and foremost, when you're thinking about yourself, as I said, ultimately we're all going to leave the earth. And the most important thing is, what are people going to say about you when you're gone? Think about some of the most amazing people that you look up to. I'll talk about, for example, Nelson Mandela, right? I'll talk about other people that we look up to in the world that have done amazing things, that we remember. That it doesn't matter who it is, right? But there's something that they did that makes you remember them. Who are some of the people that are still alive that you look up to today, and why? The people that are still alive, yes.
Elon Musk. Ndokushangani idea yake ngesina umwe vanhu lekuti akabva kwanisa kuvachivachijaira mupenyu wake like vanongodawo.
Great. Who else? Yes. Okay.
He's a recognized journalist and is actually known for bringing up the truth no matter what.
I look up to Jacob. I'm not Jimmy Lamarco. Yes, I know and I mean, it was really realistic. Officially, in Zambia, and I guess I can relate. So I look up to him.
Okay, that's great. Yes.
So I must give set up a business with people at these backgrounds.
Right. Great.
It's now a multinational company.
Right. So when you're thinking about those people that you mentioned, you see, you talk about them, and those people are going to, when they're gone, they'll always be remembered. People are going to talk about them. Their lives have been written in the history books, right? So you might not be able to influence people at the same magnitude as Tadzie Madzima, but you are still able to influence people to some extent. So my question to you is, what are you going to be remembered for in your existence? Right? What do you want to be remembered for? What difference do you want to make? What innovation? You talk about coming up with a building that will attract international visitors, tourists, etc., which will be recognized on a global scale. That's what he wants to be remembered for. So my question is, what do you want to be remembered for? When you're thinking about your career, it has to go beyond just getting an 8 to 5 job. It has to go into what are people going to say about me when I'm gone. And that can only be done when you start thinking about your life seriously, of which right now you guys have not started doing that. Right? You need to think about your life seriously. And how do you get people to help you out for you to get clarity? Because sometimes you don't have a clear direction. But you can talk to certain people, maybe you can talk to your pastor at your church, you can talk to other people that look at you in your entirety. When we're looking at career guidance, we're not just talking about what you're good at academically, we're looking at what you're good at in different facets. And how can we bring all of those skills and talents together for what you're supposed to achieve? I'll give you an example of Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs created Apple, right? But he had other skills that he was good at. His purpose and his calling in life was to start Apple. But he was also good at marketing. He was also an innovator. And he was also an engineer, right? So think about all these skills that he had. And imagine at school, Steve Jobs being asked which combination he's supposed to do. He's good at marketing, he's good at public speaking, right? He's good at engineering, he's good in the sciences, he's good in the arts. So which was he going to choose? He was good at almost everything, right? So the only thing that could have informed what Steve Jobs was going to do was not necessarily what he was good at academically, but what he was passionate about. Right? What he was passionate about was what was going to inform him. Because everything else that he was going to do, all of those skills came together to help him to create Apple. So when I look at you guys, I'm thinking about every skill you have, every talent, every gift, everything that you have been given by God. Everything is supposed to help you to pursue that dream or that vision that you have. But the most important thing is to know what that goal, what that vision is. What is it that you love doing? When you know what it is, then every other skill or talent that you have is going to come together and work together for you to achieve that goal. So the engineering, the sciences, the arts, everything, it all worked for Steve Jobs to start Apple because he needed every skill. He needed to be good in marketing. He needed to be good in publicity. He needed to be good in innovation. He needed to be good in sciences for him to create Apple. Right? So that's why I'm asking you guys about your career. What do you want to do? What do you want to make a difference with in the world? Because you could be a comedian like the gentleman seated there. Do you know that comedy could be very beneficial to where you're going? Maybe he needs to be like, he needs to be inspiration. He's gonna need that skill. Wherever he's going, he's gonna need that skill. If he's supposed to lead a group of people, he'll need to be engaging, he'll need to be charming, he needs to be humorous. All those skills are going to work for wherever he's going. But he needs to know first wherever he is going, so that he knows why he has that talent and that gift. Right? Because you are multi-talented. They're very multi-talented, but you don't need to fit into specific box. Ukuthi anogona kuma sciences, kuma arts, kuma commercials, bora teaching. Yeah. Ubi. now, because you have put everything, what are you going to do? So this is why I'm saying for someone like you, it's so difficult to make a choice based on your skills. It has to be something you're passionate about, something that you love doing, something that you're never going to stop wanting to do no matter the challenges. He spoke about journalism despite all odds because it's such a passionate issue for him. Whatever skills, talents he has, he's going to use those to make sure that he's successful. He looks up to Hope Landidi. So he's going to make sure that he does that and maybe even exceeds Hope because it's such an important issue for him. But he's gifted in many ways. He's gifted in public speaking. He's gifted in articulation, in debate, and so forth. All of those skills are supposed to work for you to be successful where he's going. So the most important thing is to not look at your skill and think, this skill is useless. There's nothing that I can do with this skill. Because everything that you have been given is useful for something. But first you must be clear in terms of where you're going and what you want to do. Without that, then you're just going to... Today, if Steve Jobs had decided that he was going to focus on what he is good at, whether it's whether it was marketing, he could have become a marketing manager because he was good at marketing. Was he called to become a marketing manager? He was not called to become a marketing manager, though he was good at marketing. He was not called to become an engineer, though he was good at engineering. He was not called to just create anything or work for a company that does innovation, though he was good at innovation. He knew that what he wanted to do in his life was to create a brand, a company that would be so perfect in the way it creates its products that everyone would want to purchase this brand. And so he took every skill he had, the marketing, the PR, the engineering, the innovation, everything that he had been gifted with, and then he created Apple. But there was a lot of intentionality in all of that. There was a lot of planning. And I'm even can I tell you, strive masiwa. And I'm going to strive masiwa. When planning, I got it. So anyway, we plan on it after this conversation. What are you planning to do? Yes. Steve Harvey. You want to act? And then run your own show. That's great. Let's give him a hand, guys. Why do you love Steve Harvey? That's good. Yeah.
Like I know it's motivational quotes, everything. I introduce even married. Like Sigasikan, background. Even I get married I don't think motivate me I get married. No get
Yes.
Tumboyongeza zoko mashule mchana. Ne pressure ikuya kunokuelewa. Takaona kuti ne combination ndikuita. Ndokwanisa kuita. Ndokwanisa ndikuda kutoita.
Urban planner. Okay, that's great. Let's give him a hand.
Saka zoti tinarishimiro kuplana. Vazhinji vedu hazaza plana. Tinyamwe zungorozvishuwo kuti toda kuzokwei saka nina kwekutanga amagoza angori ungorata mari.
Yeah, and it's okay to want to make money, but if you want to make money and just want to make money, you end up doing all sorts of things that end up end you up in prison. And then Maria gone. So now whichever case, even if you want to make money, you must plan how you're going to make that money. Right? Who else wants to share? Yes?
Influencer take number 8 financial
You want to be a serial entrepreneur?
Yes.
Yes. Wow, that's powerful. Let's give that a hand. Yes. Mama vedu muchazo zoona vanhu vavakuita zvinhu zvinoshamisika kuti zvinhu zvatakangomboita one day zvataitaura career guidance munhu yoenda kutomuona kutorana nezvinhu yake uyo atova serial entrepreneur uyo akutosvata unoti but munhu uyu ndakadzidza nayo
Unajua ile situation wewe mtu analeta maringa. Taura idea yako man.
Yes.
Zangu kama nyakuira ile ndoti ndakapasa ile yangu ndoenda kuinvest because idi mnangagwa not Zimbabwe is open for business. Kana achiti open for business anenge asinganyebe bebe kuti Zimbabwe mune mashows emari kaita kushukuru kwake kuti if you become an accountant yoita mari wozondoshatisisa kuti mabasa Zimbabwe toti zvedu economy yakaoma but kutaura chokwadi mari irimo muZimbabwe kuti become an accountant yoita mari
That's very true. Many opportunities are bidding opportunities. The government does open up these opportunities. It's just that we're not interested in finding out about them. But Ariko Akawanda.
Now we go more I wouldn't say there was an increase action because I would do
accountant this one on
All right, that's great because he's seeing an opportunity for in the business sector. So accountancy seems like a good enough career choice for him when he gets opportunity for those businesses. Janimo Madata, Steve
best friend yangu itauro.
He
doesn't share anything about his life.
Business,
right? Because I actually love business-minded young people, right? Because there's now a lot of examples of successful businessmen in the country and women, right? Security, you know, it was started by a lady who was a security guard. Did you guys know that? Security. She used to be a security guard. The owner of Security, the CEO, was a security guard. right? Now she's the owner of security, which is all over. But Akatanga security guard, right? Because she had a business, she had a vision for her life. And security guard, no security guard. And so it's really up to you to decide what you take. And it's not like Akatanga the security company actually mlipe or whatever. Akatokura, but Akatoshika point kuti achada security guard. So it's a decision. Remember we're talking about decision making. It's a decision where you come to a point where you make a decision. What is it that you want out of your life and what you don't want? Continuation Charles, and this is a businessman, right? He's running Nash Pace. So when you're thinking about your life, you need to make a decision. It's not wrong, but something, you're serious about it. Not putting like you say, otherwise you're never going to be like Tinashem Taris. He wants to run, he wants to create a chain of stores. But you guys one day to tell about by then, I need to my businesses. Because if like I said, I'm home. I gave you two examples. One is a woman and one is a man. So what I'm simply saying is that women, girls, you have no excuse to say that you don't want to get into business. Because there's a woman who's thriving in business and who's doing very well. Right? Same thing with guys. We now have so many examples of businessmen and women who are succeeding. But education is also important. Because education allows you to contract here where you don't be self-teaching. Otherwise, no value. And this is the second that everything is useful for you. Even my artists are because I have a contract yet. I asked him to research which room contract. Sarah Abba, a businessman, but I was say, I was down Ziza. Sarah Bautas runs on my contract attender, I will say, the same attendant. So you need to still go to school, you still need to do your education, because all of it is needed for you to be successful. And is it? Even the numbers will change, and later on, what you're learning now is important. And so you guys will not tell about JTM. Alright. So you guys, when we once went to that and he was talking to the students and trying to inspire them to go for the things that they want to do. Right now, Bolts is an artist, but Ananda University, he's got a degree. And he was saying to the students that, yes, I am doing very well in my career, but I am very grateful to Ananda University. Because every nation will contract to ever did it wrong to such a teach. And then I got the education here where I have to play a role in how I interpret my contracts. So in other words, what I'm simply saying to you guys is that everything is beneficial to you if you want it to be beneficial. If you're intentional. It doesn't matter what but at least you know the education is necessary. The plan of my life, I should be intentional about what I want to achieve, etc. And I'm hoping to see you have the confidence to say what you want to do in your life. And I truly believe that's a very strong skill in success. Do you know if you want to become a businessman, you've got to be very confident. You've got to be that kind of a person whose kind of opportunity is presented to you, you're not afraid and you're not shy to grab it. Right? So I'm hoping you guys will take this seriously. You go back, for those who are not yet sure, you think about what are the things that I really care about, that I'm passionate about. Like how Steve Jobs decided to plan out his life. There's a vision okay, this is what I want to do. And how can I use this and the child benefit, whether it's core or whatever, because I believe everything, whether it's your personality, your character, everything, and I believe Kuti, it's all for your benefit. I even believe the fact that he's got comedy and that he knows how to make people laugh is going to be useful for him eventually. No more jokes.
No, yeah.
Yes.
So now I'm going to go to the meeting of the video to do. Right. I was just saying, come on, I switch my job. So maybe create a law. Why create a law? Because the sign is also about the break. I mean, you know what? Even justice itself, you know, to write about it. I know I'm just now. I'm sure why I know I'm just now. I'm portray because I got my. So you need to wait a law. The time around that will not have a some of it. Because no, I'm just thinking of share. I see why because not only got power, no man. If you can't get one, some judge it. You know, I'm not someone who's in a woman is at a bit. So you need to move on that way. If we put it, you can go company and 15 years the best players. I'm just running what you that way I can cover like a big like space, which is a road right in front of me to the project. And then 15 years. That's why this started.
Let's give him a hand, guys. I'm really proud to hear that from you because I do think that you said it honestly, and I think you're going to do that. And I think Kuti, it's an amazing thing to be remembered for. Imagine that people are going to write about you in the newspapers and the lives that you have changed, but also think about the hearts that you have touched. Right? Because I think the real memory is not really my newspaper, but in the hearts of the people who want to see, who want to see. Don't start. Your name is yeah? Sorry? Yeah? Sean Sami. Correct. So I'm not sure to Sean. There are the situation yangu yaya. Let sina Sean and don't later see. Right? So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about your career choices seriously. Kanoenda kumba umwenyazofunga umwenyazotora time even kana 10 minutes umwenyazonotoda kuite. Right? Because this is so important. And then now you need to create goals around that. Because okay, this is how I am going to get to where I need to go. Like he shown up with like I need to finish, I need to do my arts, do well in my arts, put in the use it. With 15 points. So I was not 15 points. I was gonna say, I was open up low. And then another 15 points I get over maybe you work for a couple of people. Then as he's working for a couple of law firms, then he's going to start his own law firm eventually. So the point to that plan and kuti like nowhere kana wati chi nasi ndaku ameno ndichamwita chero chamuka inyama. Right? And is it? You guys if you have any questions for me? Any more questions here? Yeah.
I want you to be my role model. Tell me about you. Now, when you have because there is this objective, even
So let me give you my own history, right? In terms of my career path. They're gonna fine arts. They're gonna fine arts. I was into debate. I was into interact, right? And I was also into the arts subjects, right? So when I was given my options, equity, okay, these are the career choices you can do. I didn't feel like I fit into any of those boxes. The input in this one, I don't think it's the best one for me because I don't really. How does this feel? How does this make sure that I will still be able to do my debates, my interact, etc. Right? So I was 1% more good like even at school. If they needed somebody to come up with a speech at during assembly, the teachers would come to me and say, "Tadzie, come and speak." And I would come up with things to say very quickly at an assembly to inspire people, right? But somehow I never really had anyone who sat me down and said to me, "Tadzie, my skills are where are we now? This is what you can do with them." There wasn't a clear path. That I was given the option to do law, but I didn't want to do law. Because I like to be in the communities and I like to volunteer. I like to go out and help people and so forth. So I was like, I don't want to be stuck in the courtroom. I want to be in the communities. I want to be where the people are. I want to be where the issues are. I don't want to be in the courtroom. So I was like, so what career path can you give me that will bring everything, my fine arts, everything together, so that at least I can find something that satisfies, and I cannot find something like that. So what I did is that I went to Harare Poly, the Vandaita 1 year in art and design, because I was doing fine art, because I was very good at drawing and sketching and so forth. That was something that I was very good at. So I ended up Poly in the Vandaita 1 year because I was trying to figure out. It was almost like a gap year. Couldn't figure out what I'm doing because my options are actually not available, not that great. And what ended up happening is that because I was so good in fine art, that's a place under the Haiwan company. I wanted to be artistic graphic design, and before you know it, I was now doing graphic design for them, and I was getting paid. Right? I was getting paid. Money was now coming into my pockets, and so I was like, let me just do this. So I was really good at debate, public speaking, everything was thrown out of the window. I was now doing graphic design full time. Right? So I kept doing so well, became studio manager, became senior art director, then ended up being creative director for a number of advertising agencies in the country. But something was missing for me because I was not really enjoying the job. Because I would spend most of my time sitting behind the computer designing materials for companies and coming up with pitch proposals for companies. So something to me was like, oh, so then when I open our communities, it's not enough when I was always an opinion voice. So then when I move into non-profit with my skills. The Vandaita said the Vandaita open a non-profit work. So I started working for my NGOs. My marketing skills, my design skills in the non-profit world, right? So now that gap here and my communities and what was now being filled in by working for non-profit organizations and doing their marketing for them. Right? But then even at that point, yes, I was now going into communities and engaging and using marketing, but still something was missing. Still I wasn't happy, right? So then what made me realize to see, okay, I really want to work with young people is because at high school that's what I was doing. I was working with young people, right? So then I was like, no, let me actually work with young people and mentor young people because that's what I love doing. I love working with young people and mentoring young people. And that's when I started my own organization, which is what I'm running now, called Ignite Youth Organization, right? And I was very scared to start Ignite because I was getting paid so well in the NGO sector for my skills. So this was going to mean I was going to lose all the pay, all the amazing salary that I was getting from the NGO sector because I wanted to what? I wanted to pursue Ignite. And then Ignite for me brings every skill for me together, which is working with young people, inspiring young people, helping them to go for their dreams, my public speaking skills, my marketing skills, because I use my marketing skills and my PR skills to push Ignite and to have the brand out there. So for me to say, Kuti, I was going to now pursue Ignite Youth Organization was because I had gone through a bumpy road of trying to find where I need to go with my life. But if someone had come to me and said to me, Tadzie, you're good at working with young people, you're great at public speaking, you're great at art, design, marketing, how about you put all of this into creating your own initiative that helps you to inspire young people? Then I wouldn't have gone around in circles. But I went around in circles in my life because in the past. Right? Let me help you put in the answer to director. Just as all of these no contact in which direction now. Right? So this is why I started Ignite. Because I wanted to help other young people who are struggling with finding what they want to do. So that they don't have to go down the road I went. Because I went a long winding road of this I don't like, this I don't like, this I don't like, until I actually ended up doing what I do love doing now, right? But it took longer because at the school that I went to, I did not go career guidance. So it's not direction. That's not direction, right? They want me what I do is not gonna, so let me just do this. It's not gonna, so let me take it. But then I right? So all my skills are so like this is what you can do in order for you to be successful. Then I would have what? I would have succeeded. So that difficulty also made me start Ignite, right? And if you want to know how many young people lack career guidance in the country. And so we need to make sure we help young people to get career guidance so that they don't have to go down the path of doing things that they don't love doing and etc. before they actually start doing the things that they love doing. But one thing I can tell you is that ever since I started doing Ignite Youth Organization, a lot of things have worked out for me. A lot, right? So for one, right, I was selected as a 2018 Mandela Washington Fellow, right? Which means that I spent about 6 weeks in the US. I was studying business and entrepreneurship in Austin, Texas. I have been a fellow at the Monterey Institute of California, which is based in the US, right, where I was studying peace, trade, and development. Right now I don't know how many awards. I'm a gratitude fellow for another US-based organization. And all of these things have happened because, not only because I discovered what I wanted to do, but because I put in the work, right? So this is why I said to you guys that it's one thing, but it's another thing to start pursuing it because you need to work towards your goals. You can't just say you have to push yourself. You have to push yourself. So it's like the reason why I inspire you guys and talk to young people about careers is because I struggled getting clarity with what I wanted to do. So I help young people to get that path to, okay, what can I do with everything that I've been gifted with so that I can be successful, right? And I do still use like my marketing skills for me to raise money, for me to be able to take care of myself, and for me to pay my bills. So that skill is almost like a side hustle. Then I started hustling with. Hey, yes. So that's like a side hustle. Marketing is like my my chickens my chickens right? So I do marketing, and I do marketing for US-based organizations. I've got 2 organizations that I'm doing marketing for right now that are based in the US. So I have come up with a career plan for myself that makes sure I am fully satisfied with what I'm doing. I'm working for US-based organizations. I'm able to pay my bills. I'm able to take good care of myself. I travel to the US many times, many times. And I'm also running a youth organization, which is something I am passionate about. And I'm able to help young people to find their career paths. And I do it because I went through a difficult time finding which direction I should go. My challenges are not my challenges are not face out. So my teachers are not in detail, so so forth. Confusion, yes, but one thing I can tell you for sure is that if you have somebody who holds your hand during that time, it will be easier for you to navigate those challenges. But when you're just going through it alone, right? Because it's very difficult sometimes when you're multi-talented. That's why I was asking him with all of the things that he's good at, does he know which way he's going to go? Because I'm not like a straight A student. Because I don't know what you're so I don't choose a cheat. Right? Do you guys get what I'm saying? So that's why I started Ignite, so that I can give young people career guidance. So what I simply do is I sit with you, I help you, I mentor you, I show you, okay, I am doing my skills on now, I am doing my talents on now, and everything for me is meant to help you. As I said, skill that I make a jokes that I engage and for me, and you want to go I don't see it in the Musikanzo. I see it as a talent. I see it as something chachatoshanda muupenyu hwake kuti aite zvaafana kuita muupenyu hwake. Because I don't think kuti God makes mistakes. He does not make a mistake. You can't be gifted in soccer and be a good at piano and what and then you're like saka piano ndakuisiya aside because I spend ndewanda upenyu. Azviite Mwari akakupa zvinhu zvese izvozvo for a reason. Ari kuziva zvanga chaakakupira zvinhu izvozvo. Handiti kana? So now you need to figure out why was I gifted with all of these things. Why is it that he finds it so easy to engage with people? He creates relations very easily. He's very confident. He's able to talk about what he likes doing. He's able to engage you guys. All of you guys are not too busy to say, win a case. Because I believe Kuti, your personality, everything, your talent, your gifts, everything, it's not Kuti Mwari a mistake. But you imagine as a strength, not a weakness. Kuti actually this is a strength. He is passionate about making sure Kuti issues around propaganda are addressed. He was given that specifically because he's supposed to do something about it on this earth. It would be a disadvantage if he did not do something about it. Do you know Kuti, if he doesn't decide to put a lawyer, imagine Kuti vanhu vangani vachapinda mujeri vachasungwa just because Shona decided kuti achada a lawyer. Saka akawana responsibility itori serious yekuti make sure kuti anofana kuita lawyer. Because pane vanhu vachatopinda mujeri nokuti Shona anodecide kuti achata lawyer. Saka vanhu vese ivavo vakutosungwa chichi. And guess what? Pachazoona newspaper kuti pane munhu asungwa zvinenge zvichimurwadza because anenge achiti you know what, I could have done something about this if I had become a lawyer. If I just remain serious about it. And is it? Because zvese zvaunenge wakapiwa naMwari ndezvekuti iwewe uchisei uzokwanisa kubatsira vamwe vanhu. If he doesn't pursue his journalistic career, there are lots of people that are going to get misinformation and governments will get away with things that are not right. So he is there to hold them accountable. Because the newspapers play a big role in influencing the way people think, the way people see things, decision making, and is influenced by that. Saka iye akasadzana kudaro akakana vakawanda vachaluza out just because he decided kuti achada kuita journalism. Same thing with her. Pane stories anofana kunyorwa naye. If she doesn't become a journalist, those stories are never going to see the light of day. Saka I want you guys to understand kuti whatever you decide to do pane munhu achabenefit out of zvinhu zvauchaita iwewe. Ndosaka unofana kuita serious. Uyo akasabuilda structure iyoyo yafana kubuilda. Zvinoreva kuti Zimbabwe is never going to be known for having these amazing architectural designs. Saka zvakatofana kuitika in history hazvichatomboitiki because munhu anodecide kuti achakwanisa kuzviita. Saka history yakuchinja. Zimbabwe ichazivikanwa for any unique architectural buildings because we anenge agive up kuti haandichaita zvearchitecture. Right? So I want you guys to think about your life from that perspective. I'm here for a reason. Somebody needs your help and you are here for that person. You don't exist just for yourself. When you see street kids, remember street kids, whether you start a serial business like we are not talking about businesses. Maybe my businesses here my street kids off my streets. And is it? Because so this is why your career path is so important. And I just want to inspire you guys because I want you guys, like he's talking about Steve Harvey. Do you know the numbers of lives that Steve Harvey has changed? Millions. The comedy, yeah. The comedy, yeah. Alright, wanna clear career path zvinonetsa. But at least takafunga nezvazvo izvinezvi.
Like Matora notice what this is a Matora
No, in India I was raised by a single parent. And life was very hard for me. Very, very hard. Pane time yekuti taitombotengeswa mabanana kuti tikwanisa kuwana mari yekuti ndimbowana mari yetransport kana yechikafu. Right. It's not like ndakangokura in a very comfortable environment. I didn't.
But it seems like
But-
no exposure to jealousy.
And I'm not so very exposure. Ndangandipori munhu wekuti ndangandiri munhu wekuti like ndaisikade ndangandipori munhu andakaombeka in the sense yekuti I knew kuti in my life I'm not going to stay suffering. I don't want to suffer. And pane umwe wevetoda kuti asausafa. Kana uchidecide kuti hauda kusafa muupenyu unofanira kuti make sure kuti unotora masiteps acho ari necessary kuti usasafa. For one, kuenda kwandakaita kupoli was because of the fact that 1 year I was good in fine arts, right? But that was the most affordable school for my mom. Hakuna kuni kwandaizo kwanza kwenda kune chikoro chinodhura because right after high school my mom said to me kuti handisina mari yeuniversity, handisina mari yekudingiririkina. Saka for me it was alright, saka pandoita safe. Let me go and do something that's fine art related since I'm good at it. No way to use the time iyoyo to figure out kuti ndoita chii. So it wasn't easy for me. It was very, very hard, right? I also had to figure out working the way I was working for my companies and right, was also a way for me to raise money. But I can't say that I was working because ndakutanganyika kuzoenda kunoita career yangu yekuzotanga ignite. Ndaingoshanda because ndinachida mari. Right? Ndaida mari. So I was working because I wanted money. And nobody had given me direction. Yes, you've got a talent in graphic design and chichichi so that you can actually use this to create money and then also tanga organization. That's why you need to have clarity to exactly. Because yes, we're going to look at money, which is the to go to all of the places I was in. But we're not going to tanga business. You're going to tanga uzonyato kumaliza mali dzekuti kunyato tanga zvizvoda zviti. And is it? But aukwanise kuti make a plan iyoyo kuziva izvozvo kana usina kumake a plan neupenyu hwako kuti uri kuenda kupi zvoda kuita ndezvipi.
I don't contact you because
But what I am saying is that the fact that I was raised by a single mom and life was very hard for me was not an excuse. You know, let me tell you, a person who was raised by a single mom, who had a very difficult life, who literally that's poly, right? And ndakazoita degrees, but a certificate in art and design. Right now, I lead teams of Americans. Do you know I have Americans that report to me? Americans report to me. Vanhu vakaita Boston, Georgetown University, fancy universities. In India, I just learned here in my country in Zimbabwe, the Mandasa degree in UNISA. And yet I have Americans that are reporting to me. What does that tell you about life? It tells you that it boils down to your character and your personality, your decision making, and what you decide about your life. It's a decision. It's a decision, guys. It's a decision. Even the accent shona accent meeting. No matter Americans, the American accent, but in India did not make a decision to teach shape. Meaning Zimbabwe. So what I'm trying to give you guys as an example here is that ukasapulana upenyu hwako, right? Unogona kutozongofa usina kana difference yaunenge watomboita in anyone's life, right? And then what I want is kuti ndikuinspire kuti at the end of the day iwewe newewe doesn't matter kuti wakakura situation yakaita sei, hatina basa kuti zvaka zvakaoma zvakaita sei, but unogona kuzopedzisira wacho wabosi kune imwe company tori hombe stereke ibhidzo kuna America kweso wakutsva nevanhu vatoripota kwauri, handiti zvinogona kutoitika, but hazvingoitiki neungotaura kuti orit ndikuda. Unofanira kunyatsoplana upenyu hwako, just like Sean how he's planning his life. You've got to plan it out, guys. You've got to be intentional about it. But it's possible. Because I wouldn't even be before you right now, talking to you guys, helping you guys, and trying to get you guys to inspired. If I had given up, if I can go to creative director, kana kuti web design, ndisingambondiona panapa. And this is because munhu anenge andiudza kuti you're good at marketing and graphic design, saka you're called to be a graphic designer. Saka you were never going to see me standing before you telling you that you're supposed to go for your dreams or your career choices. Because munhu anenge andiudza kuti ndozvaunofanira kuita muupenyu hwako. Saka you guys, I would have robbed you guys of what you're supposed to hear me say, which is about your careers. This is why you must always know what is it that I want to be remembered for. What is my purpose? Chinangwa changu kuve pano ndechei. Handiti? Chicha ndinofanira kuita panapa pasi panapa. Sandindabva pasi panapa chicha ndinofanira kuita. What difference am I supposed to make? Because those people who are not ndovanhu vacharamba vachitaura nezvavo vachikuremember, right? Those are the people that will always remember you. Pane vamwe vatinoziva vakaita sana Charles Ngoshi, Tsitsi Dangarembwa, what. Those people have done amazing things. They've written books. They've made a difference. Right now, mabhuku ndo atinoda ndo mamwe acho atinotosadza kuchikoro. Because munhu akatomeka decision kuti akakumeka a difference. Even Charles Ngoshi andozikanwa nemunhu. And Tsitsi Dangarembwa akanzi ashaya or anything. Atosiya legacy. Pane mabhuku ake achatoraramba achitoverenga nyangwe aenda, right? You guys get what I'm trying to say? So I enjoy yourselves at school, have fun, have jokes, and I don't stop young people from that, but also have a plan for your life. And this is any other questions? Yes. Which question do you want to ask? So let's come. I'm not talking about the apana that fashion designer, apana vanyora mabhuku, none of that. There are no fashion designers in here. Huh? Fashion designing has a lot of money.
I'm into Kanye West.
You're into West?
No, Kanye West.
Okay, so that's Kanye West is fashion designing.
Then I am